first legs of the Champions League round of 16 has been concluded, boys and girls. There has been some interesting results. Some results which was pretty predictable. And some result which, I can't lie, no one absolutely predicted. Let's talk about the 5 things we've learned from the round of 16. The first legs, the 8 games which took place over the past 2 days. And what that means for the second legs next week. And bro, how potentially the quarterfinals might look. Before we talk about the games, don't forget to, of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and, of course, comment your own thoughts and the biggest takeaways you took away from, of course, the round of 16, whether it's from your own team or whether was watching from different games. The first game which I want to talk about is this game, and that is one of the lessons, which I think is Arsenal versus PSV. And the lesson is, can Arteta and will Arteta do something which I think no one is, of course, expecting and no one is, of course, predicting? The result is completely surprising. The result, no one absolutely expected Arsenal to go away to PSV, the same team who beat Juve, the same who beat Liverpool, of course, in the league phase. PSV at home so far in the Champions League in the league phase have done pretty well. So for Arsenal to slap 7 goals against them, 6 different goal scorers, not even a traditional number 9, a very, very complete... I mean, listen, an 11 which hasn't really done a lot of danger over the past couple of weeks in the Premier League, ever since Bukayo Saka went down, ever since Martinelli went down, ever since, of course, Kai Havertz went down. But the fact they produced what they produced, especially because I rewatched the game. Of course, the game took place at the same time as the Madrid and Athletic game. But I rewatched the game yesterday after the Madrid game. And the first 15 minutes, I thought PSV could have actually had it. They had a chance to hit the crossbar. Of course, the rebound went just wide. And I thought, all right, this is going to be a long night for Arsenal, especially going away to PSV. And the atmosphere was crazy. But after they scored the first goal, and after the second goal went in, of course, the first goal came from Timber, the second goal from Ethan, an assist from Lewis Skelly. And the moment the second goal went in, you could see that the momentum has absolutely changed. You could see that the approach which PSV had favoured Arsenal. Because Arsenal has been going up against low blocks in the Premier League, has been going up against teams that love to sit back, wait for the moments to pretty much and then attack. Something which Arsenal hasn't really managed to unlock. Something that Arsenal hasn't really managed to basically take advantage of. Because I don't think Arsenal this season has done well against a low block team just because of the fact they haven't got a proper real X factor. Bukayo Saka was the X factor. He went down. And now Ethan has now slowly becoming that X factor. But it's hard for a 17-year-old who this is his first rookie season. It's hard for him to basically put expectation and pressure on him to be that X factor every single night. You've basically asked Odegaard, you're hoping for Odegaard to be that person, but he hasn't done anything. But this game, I mean, Odegaard, listen, that amount of times which I saw him, whenever he got the ball, he literally turned and just progressed with it. Something which I haven't seen him do over the past couple months in the Premier League. But it helped when PSV weren't going to sit back, especially after the second goal came in. And Moreno, mistake from the goalkeeper. Moreno literally, they scored about 3 goals within 15 minutes. And you could see PSV, it was deflated. The moment the third goal came in, and the third goal was a stupid defensive error. I don't know what the goalkeeper was doing. I don't know what the defenders was doing. The moment the third goal went in, you could see, the players were deflated. And the moment the third goal went in, you could see the Arsenal players, the confidence level just went by another level. And I like the fact that Arteta said, listen, Let's not be happy with a 3-0. Let's not be happy with a 2-0. Let's just put the dagger in. And the dagger was 7 goals. Some of the goals was of course beautiful. Ethan's second goal was nice. Calafiori, I see him playing as a striker. And for Trossard's assist, I see him playing as a left winger. Of course, I think he became one of the only few defenders who assist and scores in a Champions League knockout game. Lewis Skelly became one of the youngest, Ethan became one of the youngest players to score in a Champions League knockout game. I think he is now 3rd youngest in the Champions League history. Jude and I think Bojan were younger. But it was a dominant performance from Arsenal. And of course, gives him a healthy lead for the second leg, which no one is going to be expecting PSV to come back from. And it does put an interesting matchup in the quarterfinals. I think Arsenal, what they have, which a lot of teams don't have, is defensively. They are very, very tactically sound defensively. And the defensive options is elite. The likes of option they have with Calafiori coming on, Lewis Skelly on the left-hand side, who's been very, very impressive in the past couple months, ever since he got a chance. Of course, the pairing of Gabriel and Saliba, we all know about them. Timber has been very good. Ben White is, of course, back from an injury now. So they've got so many defensive options. And I think what Arteta lacks going forward, and this is what he's trying to adapt, trying to see what he can do. And now Ethan is now getting that chance. But what he lacks going forward is what he have defensively. And I think defensively, they are one of the best teams in the world, alongside one team, which I'll be talking about very shortly. But listen, amazing, impressive result. Something which I had no idea which they were about to do. And it does put an interesting, especially if Madrid wins. And that takes me to the second lesson that we learned. Real Madrid should have put the dagger the same way Arsenal did just now against PSV. We had the chance. We could have had the dagger. We did not do it. The last chance of Mbappe passing it backwards to Vinny Jr. was absolutely appalling. And Real Madrid only, and I repeat, only won 2-1, which they should have won way more than that. It should have been 3-1, and the third goal could have been literally the decider. But we did not do that. The game itself, I spoke about the game yesterday, not yesterday, sorry, 2 days ago. I gave my review. It wasn't the best of performance from Real Madrid. We commit the same habits as always. But one thing which I want to talk about very quickly is the relationship between Mbappe and Vinny. It's very annoying that it is now approaching March. Actually, forget approaching March. We are literally in March. And we still haven't seen Mbappe and Vinny flourish and actually play well. And, bro, we're 8 months in. We're 8 months into the season. I don't know how long we can do it, but we're literally 8 months in the season. And once again, the trio up front is a bit disappointing. I will be talking about PSG and Liverpool, of course, which is one of the main standout games. But what I watched with PSG and Liverpool, I know PSG lost. I know PSG, they of course lost the game. They killed their chances. But I saw something which, from the PSG game, which really, really annoyed me. Especially, I looked at my team and I was like, come on, man. PSG yesterday played an amazing game. But what they had going forward is they never had a striker. They never had a right winger. They had 3 natural left wingers. 3 natural left wingers. Kivicha, natural left winger. Barcola, natural left winger. Ousmane Dembele, yes, he's been playing all right with Barcelona, but he's a natural left winger going all the way back to the Rennes days and, of course, the Dortmund days. They had 3 natural left wingers. Yet, they were able to rotate between them, flow naturally, all 3 of them, between the 3 of them, and produce an elite display which caused havoc, whether it was on the left-hand side on Trent. I'll talk about the game itself. I haven't seen none of that this season for Real Madrid. This season, instead of them flowing and roaming naturally, everyone getting their chances. I saw Kivicha playing as a left winger, as a right winger. I saw this man on the left, on the right, Barcelona on the left, on the right. I haven't seen them in Madrid. Instead, what I see in Madrid is 3 of them being in the same position, which is on the left-hand side. Something which I've seen so many times consistently. It helps having a system. It helps having a manager who can actually explain how they attack in terms of ideas and in terms of structure. We don't have an attacking structure. But the fact that I see them with PSG, who this is the first season, Kivicha just joined a couple months ago, and he's already he's pretty much been integrated in that little free roaming attacking trio, and we can't even do that. Like, once again, we're still relying on individual brilliance. 2 of the goals that we scored from wasn't down to system. It was just down to Fede, elite pass, Rodrigo, exceptional goal. Second goal, Brahim Diaz, a goal out of nothing. And the dagger should have been it. That third goal should have been the dagger, but we did not do it. And that's why I'm worried going to the second leg, because I know the atmosphere Atleti is going to do. I know what Atleti did last season when they went 1-0 down against, I think it was against Inter on the round of 16. I don't know if it was finals or round of 16. But bro, Atleti has been in that position. Last season, they went 1-0 down, and of course won in penalties. It was 1-0, they won in penalties, and they scored. Inter's not Madrid. And Inter doesn't have the advantage that Madrid has against Atleti in the Champions League, because Atleti has never beaten Real Madrid in the Champions League. But it does. This game is nowhere near done. It could have been done. This is why the lesson learned was it could have been the dagger. We just missed it. Something that is the story of Real Madrid this whole season. We always miss our chances. Moving on to the third thing that we learned, and that is Inter Milan, and that is Simone Inzaghi producing a display despite a somewhat of a makeshift lineup. Of course, watch the game. It was the early kickoff, and it was an elite game. It was from an Inter Milan point of view. Of course, Inter hasn't been the Inter from 2 years ago when they won the Scudetto. They hasn't been the convincing Inter. But one thing which I saw today from Inter Milan is a very convincing display. Thuram Lautaro back on the score sheet. Lautaro, of course, he had that stigma about him. He had that little narrative about him that he doesn't do in the Champions League. He's now done over the past couple games, especially going back to the league phase. This is now, bro, they played against Feyenoord. Yes, you might look at Feyenoord and say, this is easy, this is expected. It wasn't expected. Feyenoord beat Milan a couple of weeks ago. They beat them Milan, and they beat them convincingly. So I did expect Feyenoord to maybe do something in this game, especially, of course, the goalkeeper's different. But this is what Inter's been doing this season. Martinez has come in. Of course, it helps having Sommer out, but Sommer was in. Sommer was back, but Martinez still got his chances, and he was absolutely impressive. Bastoni playing as a left-back when, of course, oh my God, how can I forget his name? This is embarrassing. Oh my God. DeMarco. DeMarco, of course, is out for the next 3 to 4 weeks. He will be back for the quarterfinals, but the potential quarterfinals, I'm not going to rule. I mean, you know what? I will rule them out because they're not going to win. DeMarco will be back before the quarterfinals, but the Bastoni performance, bro. Bastoni might be one of the best, and I think he might be the best modern centre-back out there, and the most flexible and the most versatile. Bastoni played left back, wing back, something which, let's be honest, he's been playing. I know he plays that left-footed centre-back, which for most of the time, the market is so far advanced, Bastoni is technically still the left back because of how advanced Bastoni is. But still, he played as a left wing back, but the performance I saw him dropping a performance which, bro, it is someone who I feel like have been playing that role for so many years. Tactically, so elite. On the ball, so tidy, so composed. Going forward, the passing is something he's been doing already. It's nothing new. It's nothing surprising with Bastoni. But it's the fact how tactical, versatile he is. You can put him anywhere, literally. I think he might be the most, the most versatile and modern centre-back that is out there. I don't think there's anyone like him. He is absolutely elite. The performance he dropped, another person who, in my opinion, dropped a very, very good performance, despite the fact that he hasn't had any sort of minutes, is of course Aslani. Inter Milan fans haven't really been with him over the past this season. He hasn't got a lot of minutes, especially over the last couple of months, but he got his chances now with all the injuries which they had. And listen, he did well, tidy, composed on the ball, passed it when he needed to, moved in the right position when he needed to. Of course, Dumfries is the only healthy wing back, and he should have, to be fair, they had an early chance which should have scored with Dumfries. But Thuram, I think, is I think whenever I watch Thuram, yeah, this guy always attracts chances. He always attracts, especially penalties. He is an elite. It reminds me of Lucas Vazquez. Like, Lucas Vazquez is such an elite penalty grabber. Like, he knows how to win penalties. Thuram is one of them. And I saw the TNT commentators, which to me just highlights how Premier League commentators, they don't watch anything outside of the Premier League. I think the only negative with Inter is it was only 2-0. Of course, Zielinski missed the penalty, and when Zielinski had the penalty, and when he missed the penalties, the commentators were saying, why did Thuram not take the penalty? Why is Zielinski taking the penalty? My brother, do you know Thuram has never taken a penalty for Inter Milan? Do you know the terms of the pecking order? At that point, Mehdi Taremi was in there. Mehdi Taremi should have been the penalty taker, because Mehdi Taremi has been the penalty taker for Porto and Iran. But the fact that they thought Thuram is the penalty taker just because he won the penalty just shows they don't watch anything outside the Premier League. But what I've learned is Simone Inzaghi. And what I've learned from Simone Inzaghi, he's now only conceded one Champions League goal this whole Champions League phase, the 8 games, and now this 9 game. 9 game, only 1 goal conceded, which was a dodgy goal against Leverkusen back, I think, game week 3, 4, whatever it is, yeah. Only 1 league goal conceded, which is, to be fair, questionable. This guy has been coaching over 32, 33 Champions League games in his career. Over 65% of them has been clean sheets. The guy he's insane. He's honestly insane. And I'm going to be so real, yeah. What Jose did with Inter in 2010 was incredible. But if Simone Inzaghi, and again, we all know about Inter. They are the dark horses. I think everyone expects them to have won this game. And now this leads us to a crazy potential. Let's talk about it. Crazy potential company. Vincent Kompany. Round of applause. Round of applause to Vincent Kompany. Because my brother, I rewatched the game last night after the Barcelona game. I did not think you had that in you. The last 3 games I've seen an approach from Vincent Kompany. The last 3 games I've seen something which I haven't seen from Bayern Munich start of the season or halfway through the season. We're now in March, and now I'm seeing an identity from Bayern. I'm seeing Bayern, and again, I'm not gonna be making the comparisons because it's too early, because it's early days. But I'm seeing Bayern, the ruthless Bayern, the peak Bayern. The Bayern that we all know from the Jupp Heynckes days, you know what I mean? The Pep days before, of course, the Champions League. But this is a very, very impressive. I never knew. My prediction for this tie, for this matchup, was Leverkusen. Of course, Xabi Alonso has always had numbers against Bayern Munich. He's been coaching for over 7 games. He's never lost against Bayern Munich. So I think Alonso knows how to play against Bayern. And, bro, Kompany absolutely not only tactically outclassed him, it was dominant. It was something which I never expected, and it is an approach which I've seen over the last 3 games: the Stuttgart, the Frankfurt, and that Bayern Munich. And ironically enough, if you go back to last season, when Tuchel was there, 2 years ago, no, last season, no, 2 years ago, yeah, no, last season when Tuchel was there. That was a moment of last season, a stretch of moment where Bayern Munich had Stuttgart and Leverkusen, and they lost both games, 3-1, 3-0. Vincent Kompany have just done the exact same in the space of a week. They beat Stuttgart 3-1, which was convincing. I watched it last Friday, and the performance I saw against Leverkusen, it helped when Leverkusen. Basically, I don't understand Xabi Alonso. This is my only criticism towards Xabi Alonso. I, of course, won him in Madrid, but I've realised with Xabi Alonso, especially in European nights, I watched it last season in the Europa League. When it comes to the Europa League, he overthinks. He gives me like a Pep vibes. It gives me a Pep vibes that he thinks too much. The lineup which I saw yesterday, I don't understand, makes no sense. This brother is playing six defenders. 6 defenders. So you kind of got the impression, my brother, what are you doing? What are you doing playing with 6 defenders? And the thing is with the 6 defenders is there wasn't a moment where I felt like there was a need of it. There wasn't a moment where I felt like, I don't know what the approach was. Maybe the approach was to keep it 0-0. Keep it 0-0, get scrappy 1-0, or maybe concede only 1 goal and take it to the second leg at home. But there wasn't a moment in the whole game which I felt like Leverkusen actually had some sort of control or some sort of chance to score. The only chance which they had was the mistake from the defenders from Bayern's, which Neuer, of course, saved. And when Frimpong, to be fair, should have scored. But beside that mistake from Bayern, Leverkusen had no sort of no smell in the final third. There was nothing from Leverkusen at all. That's why I question the tactical lineup from a Leverkusen standpoint, but from a Bayern standpoint, this was absolute insane. Olise was for me one of the best players of the match. Whenever he had the ball, proactive, direct, he was one creating everything. Jamal Musiala, we're kind of expecting him again. I've been criticizing Jamal, expecting him to do a bit more in the Champions League nights. The back-to-back game against Celtic wasn't good enough, but this game he's done very well. He might have been robbed from one of the greatest assists I think I've ever seen. That should have been 4-0. The dagger should have been 4-0. Is the tie over? I think it's still early to say. Harry Kane with an important goal. And then Harry Kane, we all know about him. He's never won a trophy. X, Y, and Z. It's the same narrative. Last season, he was never there in the big games. He always, against Liverpool, he only scored 1 goal last season, but it wasn't really a goal which mattered. This season, I expect Harry Kane to do something, especially to end that drought. Now, that first goal showed me everything about Harry Kane. Because that last season, Harry Kane would have never been in that position. He made the pass early on. He switched the pass to Olise early on. But last season, Harry Kane would have just maybe dropped deep. Maybe expected the cutback and maybe shoot outside the box. This season, Harry Kane, he's inside the box, bro. He's winning the header. Elite header, by the way. Elite cross for Michael Olise. But Bayern yesterday, tactically elite. dominant performance. Everyone was elite. In the pressing in the final third, I saw an approach from the last 3 games. I've watched only 2 of the last 3 games. I watched the game against Stuttgart last Friday and this game. And I'm seeing something, and I watched Bayern earlier this season, but this is the first time I've seen a different version of Bayern. And I think credit to Vincent Kompany, because Vincent Kompany yesterday did an absolute masterclass. Another person who did an absolute masterclass is Arne Slot. And Paris Saint-Germain missed an absolutely glorious chance to actually take it. I don't understand this. When I look at this result, you know what's funny? Again, I'm not here gonna say I told you so. Go watch my watch along yesterday. I did a watch along for both games: Paris, Liverpool, Barca, Benfica. I said at halftime. At halftime, I said, after PSG should have led by 2 or 3 or 4 goals in the first half. I said in the half-time, I said, listen, don't be surprised if Liverpool win this 1-0 with a scrappy win. Last minute scrappy win. And this is exactly what happened. The moment, bro, I've seen this script so many times. Not just with Liverpool, because I've seen it with Liverpool this season a lot of times. Liverpool this season has been the best team in the world. The most consistent, best team in the world. There's been games, 60-70% of games which they've been dominant. They've been absolute ruthless. They've been absolute impressive. And that is credit to them. But that's been games which they've won, which they haven't really been impressive, but they've won due to mentality, due to them standing firm and knowing they can still score, knowing they still have few X factors up there that can actually do a difference, making sure that if Alisson helps them, if the defense helps them, trust me, they know how to score. I've seen it this season, and they've done it this season. But the fact that, listen, I want to talk about certain players. First of all, I want to talk about Alisson. The performance that Alisson dropped yesterday was absolute. I don't understand it. It reminded me, I said it in the watch along yesterday, it reminded me of Thibaut Courtois against Liverpool, ironically enough, in the Champions League final. What he did, that was when you need a goalkeeper to save you, and when you need someone just to give you something, especially in a performance which Liverpool was dominated physically, mentally, tactically. Bro, this is the first time which I've seen their midfield of subs like Gravenberch and Alexis getting absolutely dominated, whether on a physical standpoint or on a technical standpoint. Technically, all these 3 players are very good, especially Gravenberch and Alexis. But fam, they went up against Vitinha, João Neves and Fabio Ruiz, who not only taught them a lesson, they taught them a lesson, so many avenues of lessons, which I'd never even knew. That was like 3 teachers on the pitch, literally sat down, yo, this is a lesson. PSG dominated Liverpool yesterday. And it's the first time which I've seen Liverpool toothless. They were toothless. But this is why Liverpool, I feel like they can win this tournament. Is as bad as they played, and they played very bad. Bad. Bro, Salah, non-existent. Nuno Mendes was on him. Diaz, non-existent. Hakimi was on him. The defenders was very good. Pacho, Marquinhos in the first half, especially the first half and early part of the second half. The midfield was elite. Barcola was cooking Trent. And this is what I said earlier with the trio. Bro, Kivicha was handing out boom, literally on Robertson got annihilated so many times. This Dembele was insane. This game should have been 5 or 6 or 7 goals by PSG. But now look at this, it's only 1-0 to Liverpool. And this is what I mean. The missed chances was too many. Konate got very fortunate. That should have been a penalty, in my personal opinion. The disallowed goal with Kivicha, unfortunate. But again, this is all unfortunate. If they did it. Just give credit to Liverpool. Give credit, standing firm, staying strong. Despite conceding the pressure, the atmosphere was insane. Despite the pressure, Alisson saving them. And then boom, out of nowhere. Mistake from Marquinhos. To be fair, it was a mistake from Nuno Mendes and Marquinhos. No communication between them. But Donnarumma, someone who I complimented. I have never rated Donnarumma. Go back to all my content. I've never ever. For me, he's one of the most overrated goalkeepers I've ever seen in my lifetime. But this season, I felt like he's done well. Nah. Mistake. Easy save. That wasn't even a difficult shot. Easy save. Absolutely missed it. But fam, fair play. And second leg now brings a lot. Especially, I feel like PSG can do something, but Liverpool are just too strong. And another team who are also too strong, Despite a man down, despite being with 10 players for about 75, 80 minutes of the game, Barcelona, could Barca get sent off? This is the first time which I've witnessed Barcelona, in a long time by the way, a first in a very long time. This is the biggest mentality Champions League win for Barcelona I think I can recall since perhaps if we go all the way back to the era of 2009, 2015. Because Barcelona, we all know, in the Champions League, they are mentally, they're defeated. They're not there mentally. They're not there physically. We've seen it over the past couple of games, bottling games in the Champions League in X, Y, and Z. But when I saw them going a man off, and of course, they were very fortunate that Benfica never got a man sent off with Barrio, who should have been sent off with a stamp on Inigo Martinez. I thought they would collapse. I thought mentally they'd say, you know what, it's fine, we'll concede a goal, and the second leg we'll try to come back. But fam, the fact that they stayed strong mentally, that is something that we usually do. Madrid usually do it in the Champions League. Of course, Barcelona have done it in the league so many times. They are a much better league side than Real Madrid over the past decade, 2 decades. In the Champions League, I've seen my team do this. I've seen my team stay strong mentally. Even though that we're getting dominated and pressured against us, we still managed to find a way to win. Barcelona yesterday managed to find a way to win out of nothing. Out of absolutely nothing. Rafinha, credit to him becoming that player for Barcelona. Becoming that X factor for Barcelona when you need him. And it's become that GA merchant where he might not have a slow game. He might be non-existent, but you can still expect something from him. And listen, you can make fun of the Ballon d'Or. Oh, Ballon d'Or's falling off if Salah wins it, if Rafinha wins it, X, Y, and Z. Numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. And what he's done and the impact he's had with Barcelona. Every game, whether that's the Champions League, the big games, Madrid, Bayern, so many games. And now, of course, this. In the big games, this guy shows up, and this guy steps up, and this guy carries, and look at the goal that he scored out of nowhere. And Barcelona, the fact that they went a man down and still won, might have this win means so much for Barcelona. Not only, of course, they won the first leg, but it's a mentality win. Because I think this win will give them now a little edge to basically say, yo, we did this? Like, over the past years, Barca would never dream to do this, especially in the Champions League, because in the Champions League, this has been their kryptonite ever since they won in 14-15. But this is like whoa, we never knew we had this in us, and this might push them a little further. But listen, this is of course interesting. This is interesting. Like next week, I think we'll learn a lot. Next week, we'll learn a lot with the games. We'll see where this takes us. And like I said, let's give me some interesting games. We'll talk about each game specifically next week just before, and I'll give my preview. But I think the round of 16 delivered. Some results was absolute crazy. Some results was expected. Put down in the comments what you guys made of the Champions League first legs, how you guys thought it went. For me, personally speaking, especially yesterday when I was watching both the Barcelona game and the PSG game at the same time, it was insane. At one point, PSG scored and Kabazza got sent off at the same time. And it was crazy. Like yesterday was crazy. The Madrid game was crazy. And listen, I can't wait for next week. Next week is going to be fun, especially because we're finally going to see one game and then one game and then one game and then one game. So next week's going to be crazy. But like I said, put down in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you are new to the channel, we've hit 53K, which I'm very grateful of. Big up all of you guys who've been showing love. And we'll see you, of course, tomorrow with another video. Peace.